Good morning. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Anchorage's online service this morning. Today's June 28th, 2020. My name is Reverend Rachel Simpson, and I'm the minister here at Unity Spiritual Center of Anchorage. We acknowledge that we are, or at least I am, on the traditional lands of the Dena'ina people. And so let's start with a prayer this morning, friends. We just drop into a place of gratitude and relaxation. Setting aside the busyness of the day and allowing for a place of openness to hear what's ours to hear, to connect and know the truth of who we are and who we've come here to be. And so we set forth this day with joy, with faith, with gratitude, and in love. So it is. Amen. And look, more of you have joined us when I pray. That happens every time you pray, you get more people. Okay. Maybe you didn't know that, but that's a thing. So I have a song for you, or Zoe has a song for you. So
who's the person who said you are not enough? Whose voice echoes in your head, putting you down, telling you no when it's time to call their bluff. You are enough and you are beautiful. You're perfect and incredible, just the way you are, exactly as you are. Now think of that person when they were a kid, before they were rough. Whose was the voice that was yelling at them, putting them down and telling them no, that they were not enough? But they are enough and they are beautiful. They're perfect and incredible, just the way they are, exactly as they are. The next time you see someone acting really tough, remember a voice echoes in their head, putting them down and telling them no, that they are not enough. But they are enough and they are beautiful. They're perfect and incredible, just the way they are, exactly as they are. We are enough and we are beautiful. We're perfect and incredible, just the way we are, exactly as we are.
Wasn't that nice? Okay, next up, we have the daily word from Nancy. Take it.
Good morning, everyone. Today's daily word is will. Spiritual understanding guides my will. Each day, I use my will to make decisions, big and small, that affect the quality and direction of my life. Through the use of my human will, I may make choices out of fear or a sense of lack, or I may be driven by my desire for convenience, comfort, or the pleasures of the moment. The use of my spiritual will, however, directs my choices towards a greater awareness of my divine nature. As I grow spiritually, I use my will to shine my Christ light even more brightly. I grow in willingness to co-create with God as I release my willfulness, to do everything on my own. As I live more intentionally from my divinity, the light of my spiritual understanding dawns within me and directs my will. I hereby command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1, verse 9. And once again, spiritual understanding guides my will.
Thank you, Nancy. And so now we are going to move into our meditation time. I know, already? Yes, already. And of course, you can sing along as much as you'd like. And you can sing, I'm just going to sing peace, 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 peace I am, peace, peace, peace. But you could sing love, 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 joy, joy, joy. Some combination of whatever word is the word that speaks to you this morning. So let's just settle in. Peace, 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 peace I am, peace, 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 peace I am, peace, 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 peace I am, peace, peace, peace. And just breathe. Maybe you notice a tension in your shoulders and just settle those down, let them relax. Maybe you notice a clenching in some other area or tension. Just allow that to relax. And maybe you notice a thought or a worry plans of what's happening next or later. Maybe you just set those aside too. And just allow peace to become ever more present. Allowing the body to sink further into rest and peace. Allowing the breath to be fluid and gentle and deep. Allowing that gentle opening of peace, of the truth of your being. As we rest in the silence. And just breathe into this moment. Allowing the peace, the relaxation permeate every cell, to permeate every thought. We just allow that feeling of appreciation and gratitude bubble up, sizzle in every cell. You feel that gratitude like a warm feeling filling the body, feeling the spirits, and shooting out to connect our hearts across space and time. And so as we begin to bring our meditation time to a close for now, maybe comes to mind a word or a thought, something you want, something that wants to come with you for the rest of the day. Maybe it's a word, maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's an action step. Just be in gratitude with that for moments. And so maybe we notice the chair supporting the body. Maybe we notice if we've tensed muscles over this time and release. Maybe we wiggle those fingers and toes. And we bring ourselves more into this space by singing our meditation song. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace I am. Peace, peace, peace. One more time. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace I am. Peace, peace, peace. Well, hello. Good morning. If it's still morning where you are, it's morning where I am. So if you have talked to me much for more than a few, probably 10 minutes in the last couple months, you probably heard about my garden. And so I wanted to, so the title of today's talk is Spiritual Tools for the Bumps of Life. And I had this inspiration when I looked down at my hand after working in the garden yesterday and discovered a big old blister on my hand. And what was interesting is this blister wasn't new. It was one I had started a while ago because I was holding the handle of my lawnmower incorrectly and it kind of got away. But I guess I had not fully healed that. So, and I was thinking about that, and it made me think about how, a blister, when they were talking about the kind of blisters you get in your shoes or from using tools and things like that. I know there's lots of different kinds of blisters, but a blister is really just your body saying, "Hey, this is not working for me." Saying you're doing it wrong, or this place is too sensitive for this particular task. And I was like, oh yeah, there's some spiritual truth in that, because sometimes when we're on our spiritual journey and we're learning, growing, or stepping into new ways of being, right? Sometimes it feels like a little bit of like a blister, right? We're like, oh, that's owie. But if we continue gently in that way, we become resilient, right? Someone who plays a stringed instrument has calluses built up on their fingers where they use the instrument, and it no longer hurts to use the instrument and push against the strings however they need to do. They've built up resilience in that way. So we're going to call it calluses, because calluses makes it sound like you're being callous. So they've built up resilience, right? Yes. And so I was like, that is something that we because we can choose when we've had this. Anyway, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just really fired up about this particular idea. You know how I get. So I wanted to talk a little bit for a minute about affirmations and denials. Affirmations and denials. I know I say it really fast because I'm used to squishing it all together, but I wanted to talk about it and spread it out a little bit, because I think that there's some really powerful tools in the idea and the practice of affirmations and denials, which is funny that we always say affirmations and denials, because the denial goes first, right? And here's the thing that a lot of people, now, those of you who have seen me talk about this before, you already know this, but a lot of people don't realize that affirmations and denials is a 3-part process, as written about by Emily Cady in her book Lessons in Truth and other Unity authors. Lessons in Truth by Emily Cady is actually one of the foundational books of Unity theology. So affirmations and denials, or denials and affirmations, are a 3-part process, and this is how it goes. The first step is recognizing that there's a problem, or recognizing that something's out of alignment of how it should be, or you want it to be. Step 2 is saying, this is not the final answer. This is not the full deal of me. I deny the power of this to be controlling me, or I deny that this is, or cross out that this is the final thing. And then the third step is affirming, or stepping into the truth, the capital T truth of who we are. So usually we see this, we're thinking about it in a personal sense, and that's usually how it's used. And even if, but I think now that I've been thinking about it, there's actually a 4th step. Breaking theological news right here. There's a 4th step, because you can recognize, say you wanted to be a doctor, right? I don't think there's probably anybody on this call right this moment who's probably doing that, but that's what we're going to use that as for an example. You say, hey, I want to be a doctor. Okay, but maybe first you recognize that you've been holding a belief that you're not smart enough. Okay, so you say, so first you notice, oh, I'm holding a belief that I'm not smart enough to become a doctor. That's step one. Step two, I deny or I release, I cross out the idea that I'm not smart enough. I'm releasing that. That's not the capital T truth in me. And then the third step would be to step into the truth. I am smart and wise, and I have the ability to learn whatever I need to learn to become a doctor. That's great. But what's the fourth step? Well, the fourth step is action, because you can clean out those ideas. You can recognize it, clean it out, step into the thing, but you're not going to become a doctor just sitting around affirming that you're going to be a doctor, right? There's a lot of school that's involved, right? So you're going to have to take action on that, whatever that is. And you're probably going to have to go through that whole process of rooting out those thoughts, because the first time you get a grade that you don't like, you may go right back to the, oh my gosh, I am not smart enough to do this thing. Make sense? You're with me? I hope so, since I can't see you nodding your heads or saying amen. So here we go. So I'm thinking about this whole thing and thinking about, so normally we think about affirmations and denials in a personal context, or and that's usually how we use it. But I want to zoom out for a moment and think about how this might be happening in the collective consciousness. The collective consciousness is, what some people might call culture, or it's like the belief, the bucket of belief that a whole bunch of us are in, right? And we've talked recently about how the whole group can shift together, right? When culture says, oh yeah, this particular thing is what we do believe, or this particular thing is what we don't believe, or we do think it's okay, or we don't think it's okay. So that's the collective consciousness, right? So I've been thinking about this and all the things that have been going on in our world lately. It's been quite a wild ride, 2020. And so what if we see the call for racial justice in the context of an affirmation and denial cycle, right? So step one, we recognize that there's a problem. Now, this is not news to people who've been paying attention, and it's certainly not news to people of color, but it seems to still be quite a lot of news to a lot of other people. So we recognize that there's a problem. Step two, we say, hey, this is not how we want it to be, right? We deny that it has to be this way. We say, this is not the permanent situation. The policies or the ideas that people of color are less than, or should be treated as less than white people, are not okay. So we say, nah, deny that. Not deny that it happened. Release it. And then we step into a new truth where we can say everybody belongs here. Everybody has equal worth, and really make that the truth. But we can't do that. We can't skip right. A lot of people want to skip right to the affirmation step, right? People want to just say, hey, I'm smart, right? Like my earlier example, without recognizing that they held that mistaken belief that they weren't, right? We can't go straight to the, hey, everybody belongs, without recognizing that we have systems in place that are making that not true, or making that not show up that way, right? And so then we got to go to step 4, right? Step 4 is the action step, where we say, okay, if that's the world we want, then we have to figure out how to make that happen in our world. And so then when we see, and then we go back to realizing where the the problems are, and we work our way through the process. Continual work our way through the process. And so there we go. So it's like these spiritual tools, like they work. There's a thought, right? And so anyway, that's something I've been chewing on. So I wanted to talk about one more thing along the way, because I think that we've been experiencing it. I've been experiencing it. You've been experiencing it. Those of you I've talked to about this, a lot of people are experiencing it. It is called chemicalization. Chemicalization is kind of a weird term name for something that we've probably all experienced. And it's the place, sort of the blister place, right? It's the place between who we would like to be, right? Our affirmation place, and who we were. It's the rub spot. It's the spot that says, you know, I was comfortable over here in the way things were, and I understood my world then, and I kind of want to stay there. And then we move. So then we move into, hey, I'm this is my new great place. This is the way I want to be. This is how I want to show up in the world. And you're really excited about it. But then you get those kind of doubty things, and that's chemicalization. And it can show up in lots of different ways. And this is something, once again, that Emily Cady wrote about in her book, Lessons in Truth. This is not just Lessons in Truth. This is all her books together. And I just want to read you this little section about what she wrote about chemicalization. So what has happened? Why, simply this. There has been a clash between the old condition, which was based on falsehood, fear, and wrong ways of thinking, and the new thought of or truth entering into you. The old mortal is kicking vigorously against the truth. You have a feeling of discouragement or of fear, a feeling such as one would have if caught at something disreputable. Do not be frightened. That which you feel is, on the spiritual plane, a similar excitement and agitation to that which is seen in the chemical reaction between the alkali and acid on the material plane. And something higher and better always results. Now, she goes on to say, this doesn't happen to everyone. And I would add that it kind of happens in different levels. Sometimes you just might notice, I feel a little off today as I'm working my process. And that can be your whole experience of chemicalization. I know other people, and I have myself, in big chemicalization experiences, actually become physically ill, like had cold symptoms for a day or something like that, because I was having, maybe it wasn't cold, but I was having an allergic reaction to this new way of being. And what I've learned is that when you realize, oh, that's what's going on, that really helps take the pressure off, and you're able to heal and become resilient in that way, right? And what I've also learned in my journey is, usually for me, now that I've had so much experience going through these continual growth and changes, that my experience of chemicalization isn't as extreme as it was when I was in an earlier place in my journey. And so one more, or a few more sentences from Emily. There is always less resistance by the mind when it is gently led into the truth than when its errors are directly and vigorously combated. Should you find yourself in this state of internal aggravation, you need to only affirm, there is nothing to fear. Absolutely nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. Absolutely nothing to fear. Perfect love reigns. Peace be still. And so, friends, that I just have to tell you, I pulled this book off my shelf this morning, and the bookmark that's in this book from quite a long time ago is on that page. Must be an important page. about chemicalization. That's what I like to leave you with today and all of this stuff. So as we're going through the bumps of life, as we're experiencing not only our own journey of discovering where we may have held beliefs that we don't want to hold anymore and cleaning them out, we may experience this chemicalization, the blister, the rub. And we remember there is nothing to fear, absolutely nothing to fear. And as we're reading in the news and seeing what's going on and maybe getting agitated by the things that are happening, you know, maybe it helps to see it in this perspective of this grand, in this big picture view of the healing and growing and spiritual awakening of our peoples, of our culture, of our consciousness. And remember, there is nothing to fear. And as we do our own work to be not in fear, but in faith, that we do our part and continue to move forward, not being upset that all this chaos, seeming chaos, is happening, but realizing that it's part of the process of growth. We are becoming and helping that process. So, as we go forth, we remember there's nothing to fear. And we also remember that as we're going through this process of recognizing what's not right, releasing its power over us, affirming the truth that we want, then we follow that with action. Yes. There's nothing to fear. So, let's just breathe. So I have a few things to share. Important things to know. So, you know, we like to meet on our Zoom right after this for a little bit of chat. And also, starting next week, so that the Zoom number that you have is for June. So make sure you check the e-news this week because there'll be a new Zoom number for July. How exciting. And Zoom is changing their login procedures again. I know you're super excited to hear that. So I'm going to figure out what's the easiest way for us to move through that. And also, good to know, Taizé will be this Thursday. It's the first Thursday on Thursday, obviously, July 2nd. And we'll be doing Taizé at 6:30 at Nancy's house, as long as the weather cooperates. Right now it says the high on Thursday is 72. Oh my goodness. So bring your own chair, wear a mask, possibly bug spray would be a good choice. We'll have hand sanitizer and stuff there if you need that. But it was really great this month when we got to come together and be apart and do Taizé together. So put that on your calendars. And if for some reason the weather's not cooperating, by 5 o'clock that day, we'll send a note out and we'll be on live stream, which we will be on live stream even if we're over at Nancy's. And the following week, the second Thursday, we'll be doing our discussion group on Thursday at 11. So make sure that you're on the e-news and then you'll get all the information. That's the important thing. And if you're wondering where the one was for this week, there wasn't one. That's why you didn't get it. Because I was busy working with the Uniteens. That's our middle school age. We had our regional retreat this week. And so I was helping. I would have been there in person if we'd had it in person, but I was helping manage the virtual retreat this week. So I was busy. So, Goodness gracious. I think that's all. I look forward to seeing you all over on the Zoom chat. But first, we will do our prayer for protection. And I invite you to add to the circle anyone who's on your hearts today. And just allow us to speak this for all the world. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. And so it is. It's good to see you, friends. I'll see you over hopefully on the Zoom. And remember, this is the last Sunday of the month. So if you want to get your tithe in for June and you haven't, you head on over to the website and click the buttons and they will take your money. All right. Be well and see you soon.